Robles here. I just thought it was Friday and, maybe we should just have an easier time in our video today. Maybe we'll just have a little bit more smoothness, baby. That's what I'm talking about, because the Eddie Robles YouTube channel, despite what you may have heard from members of Big Eva, or maybe your friends, or anything like that, or maybe feminists of various stripes, the Eddie Robles YouTube channel is all about love, and I want to spread the love. And so what I thought I'd do today is just take a stroll through social media and comment as Smooth AD. And what actually got me to think about this and possibly doing this as a video today, or at least one of my videos today, was this tweet here. It's not a tweet, actually. It's from Facebook. I have a hard time distinguishing between the two at this point. Both essentially the same thing. But it's a screenshot from a news report in Pennsylvania, and it's about the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board regulations regarding coronavirus. That Rona. That's right, baby. This made me laugh because they've got all these conflicting rules, right? Like, it's like, well, the restaurants are open, but the bars can't be open, and maybe you could order a drink at a restaurant, but they don't want to have you ordering too many drinks because that would defeat the purpose of closing down the bars and stuff like that. And so they've got to come up with these convoluted, weird sort of systems to define everything. And I find this quite hilarious, and it's a good example of the absurdity, the absolute absurdity, baby, of rejecting God's law. You see, God's law is perfect, right? God's law is good, and we've got a big book of law, but relatively speaking, it's actually a small book of law, because the Lord gives the government only very limited authority over your life, and He gives the church authority over your life, and He also gives you authority over your life. And we don't want to mix up and neglect the different spheres of authority and all that kind of thing. But here's the government trying to play daddy for you. The government wants to let you know how to stay healthy, and we don't really need the government for that kind of thing. In fact, it's not part of what the government ought to be doing. And so here's what happens. When you reject God's law, you get this kind of micromanagement, and nobody likes a micromanager. But here's the rules. Here's the very convoluted and safe rules for the coronavirus and restaurants. Rule number 1, alcohol can only be served as part of a meal. So if you're one of these guys that likes to go out to the bar, have a few drinks, knock back a few, virgin daiquiris or whatever, you can't do that unless, of course, you're ordering a meal. Because if you're ordering a meal, the coronavirus can't get you. But if you're not ordering a meal and you just want to have a few whiskeys or something like that, well, then the coronavirus will definitely get you. That's pretty funny, baby. But here's the other rule, though. Hold on a second. Hold on. Unless you get any funny ideas, snack foods don't count as meals. So you can't just snack on a snack and be like, give me a drink, and then count it as a meal. Because I know there's some of you who go out to the restaurant, you like to order an appetizer, and that's your meal. Because especially if you're going to be drinking, a lot of people can't drink and eat a full meal at the same time. Their stomach feels weird. I'm one of those people. I have a hard time having a beer with a burger or something like that. If I want a beer, I'll usually just have a beer. I won't really eat because it's just too much. I mean, the bubble's getting bubbly in your stomach, and it's no fun, baby. It makes you feel all weird and full and bloated. At least maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I am able to snack though. So sometimes I'll snack and have a beer, and that's a little bit easier. You can snack and have a beer, but a full meal, it's a little bit difficult sometimes for me. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But don't get any ideas, because snacks don't count as meals. Now, you might be thinking in your head, well, AD, how do you determine the difference between a snack and a meal? And well, they're certainly trying. They're certainly trying, my man. Listen. Here's a good rule of thumb from Smooth AD. I want to help you out. This channel is supposed to be helpful, and so let me give you some advice about. You can go to the governor and ask him what's the difference between a snack and a meal and all that kind of thing. But I've got a rule of thumb for you that I think might help you. Here's the rule of thumb. If you even have a question as to whether something is a snack or a meal, it's a snack. Mark my words, because if you know what a meal is, you just know. Listen, I know it sounds kind of Gnostic, but you know when a meal is. It's secret knowledge. I can't tell you the difference between a snack and a meal. Like, it's not like you get 3 beans, that's a snack, but if you have 4 beans, that's a meal. It's not really like one of those kind of things. But and so my suggestion for you is if you're at the bar and you want to be compliant, Romans 13 and all that kind of thing. If you want to be compliant and you're asking yourself in your little brain of yours, is this a snack or a meal? Then my suggestion to you is that it is indeed a snack. Don't you dare order a drink. Don't you dare order a drink, baby. Now here's the other rules. Customers can't buy more drinks once the meal is finished. You can't buy more drinks. I know that a lot of people like to, maybe they'll order a nice sambuca, maybe they'll have a glass of wine or something like that, maybe a nice port. I don't know, but people like to have a drink after their meal. But you can't do that. Because the coronavirus knows that when the meal is done, that's when they attack. That's when the virus comes to you. Because ordering a drink after a meal and ordering a drink during a meal, but not a snack. Ordering a drink during a meal is very dangerous, but ordering a drink after a meal, wait, I got that reversed. It's not dangerous to order during a meal, not a snack. But after the meal, very dangerous. So don't even think about it. I know you want to hang out with your friends, but no, you just go to the restaurant, you feed your face, you have your drink, and then you leave. That's how we do this. And then there's one more rule here. Casinos can't provide drink services on the casino floor. So it's very safe to sit there with a bunch of sweaty people pulling that stupid thing. Very safe to do that. But the drinks, though, no, you can't have a drink. Why would you think you could have a drink? I mean, I know it's all the same. You're in the same room. You're gambling. You're throwing those dice, trying to get snake eyes or whatever it is, that kind of thing. I used to like to play craps. I don't really know the rules of craps, but I like to bet on craps. And then, what's cool about craps is that, like, a lot of times when one person wins, everybody wins. That's what I like about craps. It's a very communal game. But anyway, that's not dangerous. But if you had a drink in your hand while you're playing craps, very dangerous. You see, you're starting to understand the rules here. I'm starting to understand the rules. Basically, just hop on one foot, hop on the other. Whatever we say, you got to do it. And Romans 13, don't you think about trying to skirt the law, baby. All right. Well, let's move on to Twitter. Let's just see some random stuff because I think it's just very helpful just to see how Smooth AD, brings his winsome, loving content to Twitter just in everyday life. Here's Conan Gray. He says, many of you have brought to my attention my use of tan emojis. I apologize to anyone who was hurt by my use of emojis that you believe are too dark for me to use. I am mixed race, and therefore I choose the emojis that I felt best represented my skin tone. Most of you have never met me in real life and are unaware of how I look in person. I'm not pale. I'm not white. I'm mixed race, and I was only trying to find an emoji with a skin tone that I felt most accurate to me and my background. These tweets were made to mock people who believe there's only 2 genders. I'm so sorry if it came across as the opposite. Oh, this is separate. This guy Conan Gray is all mixed up. He's very desperate to get the approval of the mob. And here's what I say, Conan, listen. You do you. Use whatever emoji you want. There's no such thing as blackface on social media. Get real. Get real. It's all about love here. You use whatever darkness and lightness emoji you want. And if you want to use a white emoji one day and a dark emoji the next day, you've got my permission, baby. That's what this is all about. It's all about love, baby. This is pretty funny. Pretty funny. Here's Dr. Fauci. He threw out that pitch, the first pitch of the Washington Nationals baseball game. And I don't know if you saw that pitch, but I felt bad for the guy. For 2 reasons. Because, number 1, he throws like a girl. There's no question about it, baby. That ball went this way, He seems like he has some kind of muscular problem. I don't know. I mean, it certainly seemed like he had some kind of a spasm. Like, he threw the ball, it kind of went whoosh, like something like that. I feel bad for that. I mean, he can't help it. He's got a muscular spasm. And here's the second reason I feel bad for him, because he has such a lack of self-awareness that when he was invited to throw the pitch, he was like, sure, I'll do it. He didn't know he couldn't throw. And that's a very tough place to be. It's like when you think you're smarter than you are, and so you speak as if you're very smart, but you're not, and then you just make yourself look stupider and stupider and stupider. That's a very tough spot to be in. I don't mock people like that, because because maybe one day I'll be like that. Maybe I'm like that right now. I don't know. But it's very difficult to think you're super smart but not be. And in Fauci's case, I'm sure he's a very smart guy, but he didn't even know he couldn't throw a ball. I mean, in all honesty, my 3-year-old can throw a baseball further than Dr. Fauci, but, that's, God gives different gifts to different people. My 3-year-old's good at throwing balls, and Dr. Fauci is good at... moving right along. All right. Did you see this one? There's a new show, I think, on Disney Plus. I guess it's called Black is King. And I don't know what it's about. I won't be watching that. That's crazy. I don't watch stupid shows like that. But I saw this tweet, and it had some crying and some skulls and then some laughing. And it says, the racist gonna be mad. I think she probably said it like that. Racist gonna be mad. Big mad. You ever heard that? Big mad? They say they like to say that, the social justice warriors. They like to say, he's big mad. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but whatever. Anyway, so they're going to be mad because, the black people are here, and I guess this lady's black. I can't really tell. It's just difficult to tell in this picture. But then there's a very sad-looking white guy here, and I guess he might be a servant, but I'm not sure because he's wearing a weird robe or something. He kind of looks like a priest, or almost kind of looks like the emperor. That's Emperor Palpatine over there. Why would a white person be mad if Emperor Palpatine is sad? Emperor Palpatine's a villain, baby. We don't want Emperor Palpatine to be happy. He's a monster. He hurts people. He enslaves Wookiees. I mean, who would be sad that a person who enslaved Wookiees, Chewbacca and all his buddies, enslaving Wookiees, and you're thinking I'm gonna be sad that he's sad? I'm not sad that the Emperor's sad. I'm happy that the Emperor's sad. If you asked me what I felt about the Emperor being sad, I'd be like, good. You know how he did. That's a terrible impression, but that's how he did. But I think the idea here, though, is that, I'm not sure, but this Black is King lady, I think the idea here is that white people are going to be mad because the white guy's the servant. And I got to be honest, I don't think white people are going to be mad about this. I don't think they're going to be, because here's the reality. This is a fantasy. This is a show. This is fiction. This isn't real. And so let's just say this was like the Avatar of white people, right? You're still paying Disney to watch this. I mean, many white people own Disney. There's probably a lot of white stockholders of Disney, and they're going to be laughing all the way to the bank because you paid $8 a month to watch this stupid show, baby, and they're just going to be laughing at you. Why would anyone care that there's a white servant in a fantasy, even if you didn't want there to be white servants? Let's say you were a racist and you said white people shouldn't be servants or something like that. I don't know anybody who says that, but let's say you were. Why would they be so upset that there's a white servant in a fantasy, especially when his last name is Palpatine? Anyway. All right, 2 more. I actually initially recorded something else that I was going to do next, but and it was pretty good. It was pretty funny, but then I kind of felt bad about it. It was a guy. He was kind of like doing Matrix moves to dodge coronavirus particles, and it was pretty funny. And but at the same time, I felt kind of bad. I'll show you a clip of what I had recorded there. Every morsel, every particle of COVID virus, and so he's whoa, and he's keeping it like a surfer. You know what I mean? Like surfers have to balance themselves, so they put their hands up and they move their hands, and that's kind of how they look. That's what I think he's doing, lady. You don't have to dodge it like Neo. I don't know. Trying to dodge. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, let's go back to this food thing. This is pretty funny. The governor of Pennsylvania is not the only governor who's micromanaging your food choices. This is let's just listen. This is Como from New York.
To be a bar, you had to have food available. Soups, sandwiches, etc.
What I especially love about this is this information is so important they had to have a translator to translate it to people who can't hear. And so he's translating this insane gibberish to everybody else about the soup and sandwich and the bar. Let's listen to it again.
To be a bar, you had to have food available.
Yes.
Soups, sandwiches, etc. More than just hors d'oeuvres, chicken wings. You had to have some substantive food. The lowest level of substantive food were sandwiches. To be a boss.
So basically, chicken wings don't count. Chicken wings isn't food, and I just can't. I won't stand for this. Chicken wings are absolutely a meal. People eat chicken wings as a meal all the time. And by the way, where does he come off saying that sandwiches are the lowest form of substantive food? Sandwich lives matter too. Sandwich lives matter. I mean, sandwiches. Who doesn't like a good sandwich? But I mean, what about peanuts? I mean, the peanuts can fill you up. I've been filled up on peanuts before. Pork rinds, even. I've eaten pork rinds until I've been completely full. And so pork rinds. I mean, it's a whole meal. You're eating a pig. You're eating pig, and I think that should count as a meal. And a meal is from soup to nuts. So if soup counts, what he just said, soup counts, then why don't nuts count? It's soup to nuts. You see what I'm saying? And what if I want to wake up and have a donut for breakfast? Does a donut count? What about other kinds of pastries? Sometimes I eat pastries for a meal. I mean, I'm an adult. I can do what I want, right? Guess not. Well, when you're a liberal, I mean, nobody's really an adult except for, your overlords, I guess. But anyway, one more thing. You guys see this one? The Washington Redskins have changed their name. But they couldn't decide what to name their team, so this year they're going to be called Washington Football Team. The Washington Football Team. So they were very proud of this. I mean, you can see their tweets. This is the official Washington Football Team channel, or Twitter feed, or Twitter account, or whatever. And you can see that they're trying to make this so cool. Signed, sealed, delivered. Signed, sealed, delivered. Here it is. We're the Washington Football Team. They got the same colors and everything, and you can even see the pin tweet. It begins here. And I don't know what they're really thinking, but yes, it does begin here. The jokes, the endless, merciless memeing and joking and all of that kind of stuff on the Washington Football Team begins here. It has been signed, sealed, and delivered. I can't wait to see what 4chan and Reddit comes up with. You know what I'm saying? Washington Football Team, man, this is another level, baby. But by the way, many people have noticed that Washington is not without its own problems. I mean, Washington owned slaves, and so you went from one sin to the next sin. I mean, you can't just call your team Washington. I mean, Washington is problematic, baby. This country was built upon the backs of slavery. What you should do is name your football, maybe Beijing Football Team. Yeah, Beijing Football Team. That would probably work. Or maybe Wuhan Football Team. Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you find this video funny and helpful. And, well, God bless.